Game Time Decisions live on SportsGrid. It is great to be with you on a Monday night. Kevin Walsh, Gabriel Morency here. And Gabe, I don't know about you, but I'm following along with this women's tournament. We've got the round of 32. UConn's laying a big number to Syracuse. I did lay 35.5 in that game with the Huskies. How are you feeling?
Yeah, it's up to 38.5 now. So I think
good number.
You got a good number. Despite you still need to win the game by 36 points. Listen, I enjoy women's basketball. I bet it throughout the season. I'm a big WNBA fan. I bet women's college basketball, but I'm a little bit put off by all these massive numbers, Kevin, that are on the board, right? As we get on into the tournament, look, Michigan are playing Louisville on Saturday. We've got a 4.5, a more reasonable number. But looking at the numbers tonight, guys, that are coming up here. UConn laying 38 right now. Vanderbilt 12.5 against Illinois. We have a 26.5. South Carolina.
Oh, I got a bad number. I took 24.5. I
thought USC was supposed to be good. And got Oklahoma State, Kevin, getting 27.5 against UCLA. Some big numbers, man.
No, they are no joke. And the funny thing is, for anybody who hasn't been following this tournament, some of these numbers are cut in half from what the 116s were. South Carolina laid, I think, 53.5 to Southern. Game flew over the number, though, late, which was good. A good fourth quarter surge there. UConn laid a huge number to UTA. UConn, I think, won by 48 in round one. Didn't cover the number. So, it's a completely different game. Like, your Michigan Wolverines game laid 12.5 to St. Louis in a 1-9. It was like, oof, that's a big number. It's nothing compared to what we see in the women's game.
Now, the numbers are just massive, and justifiably so. They don't take the pedal off the metal, right? No. For me, though, we're talking about a 40-minute game, and you got to basically win by 40 points. It's, if you have one little rough patch on offense where you don't score for 5 minutes, you're in trouble. But there is a full slate of games going on tonight for the hardcores that want to get a piece of it. NHL hockey, only one game tonight, Kevin. And, of course, we've got a full slate of NBA basketball.
We do. And what we have, they alerted me to this in the back. I think the most uncommon head-to-head you and I may ever have. Like, in an NFL slate, you're going to get a couple head-to-heads on a side, right? Even an NBA card, I like a total this way, that direction here. Tonight's NBA card, there's about 10, 12 games. I bet one prop. And it turned, I don't know how many props you're on tonight, Gabe, but it turns out at least one of them, I am on the other side as Bam Adebayo and the Miami Heat are playing the San Antonio Spurs.
I can't believe that out of so many games as well. Yeah. And I got to tell you, Kevin, and everybody tuning in, tonight's NBA card, very women's basketball like. We've got some massive numbers tonight.
Yes.
There's almost every second game was oh God, what do you want me to do with this? You know what I mean? Seriously, I don't want to handicap this game. Just these massive point spreads tonight. Look, Magic laid 12.5 against the Pacers. That's actually one of the lower numbers. Yeah. Oklahoma City lay 16. Hawks lay 13. Raptors are now laying double digits. They're laying 10. It's come down a little bit. It was 12. They're laying 10 on the road. Blazers are 15.5-point favorites. The Clippers are 13.5-point favorites. Pretty much every game is a double-digit favorite tonight.
But for anyone that doesn't know, we have multiple teams laying double digits who are under 500. We have ugly games in the NBA. Gabe, I'll always go through the slate, but there's a couple of games, I'm not doing this. I'll be honest with people. Blazers Nets, I went, no chance. I'm not breaking this game down. It's not that important. We'll find money elsewhere. I'll tell you this. Denny Advia, though, is booked one of the 16 best players in the NBA. He's come back. The Blazers are road favorites now in games. These numbers for Portland are a little out of control. I think, Gabe, probably the best game, it's either Pistons Lakers or it's Heat Spurs. Which of those games of the two were you more interested in on tonight's NBA card?
Well, that's right. We can't, we have all these sort of, cupcake type of basketball games tonight, but we can't overlook how good the Lakers are playing right now. It's hard to believe that the Lakers aren't getting sort of the attention that they should, considering they are the Los Angeles Lakers. But
Yeah.
Here they are right now, gunning for their 10th consecutive victory. Listen, Detroit have won without Cade Cunningham so far, but who did they play? Right? They played the Wizards. They played bad teams. So now this is their sort of first test. I like the Lakers tonight. And as you stated, listen, the San Antonio Spurs, they're a fun team to watch play. They're another one who're just smoking hot right now. So those are the two highlight games. It's too bad they're going on at the same time, though, right? But kind of those are the early games. And we have a full slate of just sort of a train wreck mess for the rest of the night in the association. But as far as Bam Adebayo is concerned, there was so much talk about his 83-point game, Kevin, and so many people said, well, he's not even a scorer, and he did this. Right? Well, he kind of is a scorer, isn't he? I mean, if you're scoring 20 points a night in the NBA, you're a scorer. The guy's scoring 20 points a game, and he's incredibly consistent as well. Like, you look at his numbers, like before he went off for that 83, guys, 23, 21, 24, 83, 21, 20, 28, 32. I mean, sounds like pretty much a star scorer to me, Kevin, when you look at this guy's numbers that he's putting up.
Yeah, you got about 12 straight games of at least 20. And so it's really interesting. Me fading Bam tonight is kind of a two-prong attack, but I'm very ready to be wrong, if that makes sense, right? And I know Gabe's made fun of me this before, where sometimes I come in and it's not like, all right, it's not his favorite pick of the night, right? Where I'm like, I can see how I'm on the wrong side. But that he just played 45 minutes against Houston. I don't really know what Spoelstra's doing right now. Like, some of the decisions he's making with Bam are totally insane. And to me, Gabe, he's now played 38, 45. I'm not even bringing the Washington game in. You can get tired legs. And it's obviously
we played 42 minutes in that game. Like, he's playing a lot. Yeah.
And you're now playing Victor Wembanyama. So it's just one of those things, Gabe. If he has an off night, he's a capable passer. He might look to get some of the fresher guys involved. Like, Bam
when's
Adebayo,
the last time, though, he had an off night, though? Like, really? Like, the last time you had an off night, we could say, 13 points? Well, that night he had 13, 6, and 5.
No, yeah.
And it's a little bit deceptive. They won by 16. He only played 27 minutes. Like, he really doesn't have off nights.
So, you're...
Like, to me, Kevin, I'll say this. I'm either going to win this bet comfortably, and he's going to score 24, 26, 28, or whatever. He's going to have a big night, or I'm going to lose by a point or two.
Oh,
he's going to get the 20.
He's not going to finish with 14. 100%.
No, he's going to get. So it's either going to be like, man, he fell just short. It was right on the number. Or he's going to go over the number again. And I'll take my chances that he gets over the number again.
And
not to mention, it should be a competitive game as well.
Miami's desperate. Miami have lost 4 in a row. They're in danger of being in the play-in. They play track meets. This totals 243.5. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's some type of ridiculous or bad look or anything of the nature. But you mentioned off nights, and this is where. So after the game, he scored 83. He scored 21, which is great, right? You're right there. He shot 6 of 20 from the field because he just played 42 minutes. So I'm thinking it's a low efficiency game for Adebayo because he doesn't have low workloads anymore. He's shooting, Gabe, over 20 times from the field a game now in this month. And I know the 83 skews it, but remove that game. 26, 17, 20, 15, 19,
It's his
21.
ball, Kevin.
Yeah.
It's pretty much his basketball now. I know Hero takes some shots, but it's Bam's team right now. And it has been. He's been the most consistent one, and I think that's why Spoelstra let him get the 83 that night. Because he's been showing up on a nightly basis. You remember about a month and a half ago, he lost it. And he goes, man, no one's even trying on this team anymore. And he called everybody out publicly. And Spoelstra was basically like, yeah, well, he is. And it's upsetting him. And I get it. He's been a true leader on this team. It's his basketball now.
Yeah, it is. I'm just really... I played 45 minutes against Houston in a March game, which is crazy. Wild. Let's get into some Lakers Pistons. Rest of the NBA card after a break on SportsGrid.
It's not sustainable. Pitches throwing too hard and not being healthy, so that don't benefit anybody as well. So it's better to, if a guy throwing 97, why not just throw 94, 93 and learn how to pitch? And then you can last longer. So it's more about keeping the product on the field and being on a consistent basis.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio. Only on SportsGrid.
What about the expansion stuff?
Yeah, but doesn't it make a lot of sense, Kevin? So but it's 28-29. He's already talked about, I'm playing in the Olympics in 2028. Retirement isn't on KD's mind right now. Play in the Olympics in 2028, and then the 2029 season, play where it all started, baby. Seattle.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
I wonder if you could argue UConn's more overseeded than, like, the idea that UConn was battling for a 1 seed, quite frankly, never made any sense to me when you look at where their metrics were stacked.
UConn will be great as long as they don't play St. John's, apparently, in the tournament. They're good to go there. But you put them at a 5, Kevin. Now here we go again, like last year, Bill Self versus Rick Pitino.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
Major League Baseball announced yesterday that they will be having a partnership this season with a company that we've come to be very familiar with over the last 6 months. Polymarket is the exclusive prediction market partner of Major League Baseball and the only platform allows to use teams, logos, and marks. Representing the latest pro league to embrace the prediction markets.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, back you guys right here on SportsGrid, and I think there really are 2 NBA games that, it doesn't mean they're the only 2 that you can bet, but from like a watchability of it all, there's 2 games that stand out. It's the Pistons and the Lakers, and then we just talked Heat Spurs. And Gabe was on this, I feel, a little bit earlier on in the streak where it's like, look, this Lakers team's got something going here. Let's trust them. And it's not stopped. The game against the Magic is the first time during the win streak they didn't cover. First time, so because we talk about OKC a lot, right? Well, I like the over in that game tonight. OKC wins doesn't mean they're going to cover. The Lakers' numbers aren't crazy, and that's the case tonight. They're obviously going to cover if they're going to win this basketball game. It's basically just take the money line. You get money line around minus 115 or so here. So, no Cade Cunningham obviously is a big story here as well, Gabe. What were you looking at within this matchup?
I've got to give credit to Luka Doncic as well. Somebody that I've been critical of, actually. I think at times he can be a negative to your basketball team on the court. And I think JJ Redick, and we saw that, Kevin, right? It actually hit, it got to the point where the Lakers TV crew that are pretty big homers were calling him out during games, right? Just point blank. They were like, Luka, you've got to stop doing this. Right. I mean, he's arguing with the ref at the other end of the court, and it's leading to a 5-on-4. It's leading to baskets. Then he gets upset, and he pouts, and he walks the ball up the court, and he slows everything down because he wants to walk the ball up the court and yell at the referee at the same time still, right? It gets to be a little bit too much. I don't know if someone spoke to him. I don't know if something clicked where he realized, I got to stop. This is just too much. I am embarrassing myself. And something clicked with this team, Kevin. I'm a big quote guy. I like to listen and watch and hear what JJ Redick is talking about because he's pretty honest, actually. Yeah. Right? He can't really fake it, JJ, with the state of his team and the players on his team. And he talked about how the intensity factor is just something clicked in the room. He talked about it going into the Houston games. He goes, man, the other night it was like a playoff atmosphere in our room before the game. And he goes, and it wasn't me that did it. He said, I walked in and it was intense. It was like a playoff game. And he said they have their eyes on the prize now about the 3 seed here and that they're locked in. Now, they're not going to win every game, but now we get into the Pistons side of things, who are on cruise control. Let's call it out for what it is.
Yeah.
And they've got it done. They played, who do they play in the Cade Cunningham since Cade's gotten hurt? This is the first time they're really going to be playing somebody. Lakers are a popular team everywhere they go as well. There's always sort of that vibe when the Lakers go to Detroit. It's always that fun feeling. Now, it should be noted, the Pistons have beat them pretty good the last 3 times that they played. But this is a different scenario in which, look, the Pistons have played the Wizards twice and the Golden State Warriors, guys, since Cade's gotten injured. There's going to be a step up tonight. It's a toss-up. Anything can happen, obviously, but Lakers are hot. They've been off since Saturday's win in Orlando. Give me the Lakers tonight.
So I want to stay here for a second. I want to just, to your point about who have they played. So Cade's missed even before this, so 9 total games. They're 7-2. The wins: Washington, Chicago, Indiana, Golden State, Chicago, Philly, and New Orleans.
Yeah,
and
not to take anything away from the Pistons, Kevin, but they do play a lot of bad teams in that division, man.
Yes. That's just the 2 losses are Brooklyn and the Clippers. The Clippers are easily the best team. Easily the best team that I just listed from the 9 games. And they lost that game. And it was at home and it was by 6. So I agree with you. You know,
and the last time they played a good team, they lost. They played the Raptors and they lost by 119 to 108. They lost by 11.
Yeah. Cade was having a top 5 player in the league season. It's a really, really big loss. But I think the thing that you said about the Lakers about their energy, it's interesting how it works because the
defensive energy too. You see, they're actually playing defense.
So, Gabe, the winning started a little bit before LeBron came back. I wonder if that noise of "are they better without him" got to him so much that he's like, "I can't come back and we start losing. I cannot come back and we just get rolled by the Rockets."
That was the narrative. That was the narrative. That hey, they're better without LeBron. When it's Luka and Austin's team, they're better. They're a better team.
Yep. And now they just keep winning. So I think that's played a factor here. An angle I think you might like, Gabe, that I am playing in this game: Tobias Harris over 5.5 rebounds. Tobias Harris has played 4 games this year without Cade Cunningham. He's had at least 6 rebounds in every game. He's put up a double-double, and he only even has played. He hasn't played as many minutes in those games because, like you said, there's these blowouts, non-competitive. If we get a competitive 4-quarter game, Tobias Harris, I think, is really live for a double-double. Just the rest of this NBA card here, Gabe, I do like the over in Sixers Thunder. I don't know if this is a game you're playing. Jalen Williams is coming back. I wanted to look into this. I'm like, what if Jalen Williams coming back throws off the offense? It's the opposite. When J-Dub plays, they average 121 points per game in Oklahoma City. And in the games they win, obviously they're expected to win, 126, Gabe, points per game. But we know the Thunder don't cover. I think this game goes well over 224.5, 225.5 total.
Oklahoma City team total could be worth a look in a scenario like that as well. So you take the point spread out of the equation. Another NBA game, Kevin, it's one of those a lot of people are going to look at and sort of skip over is the Raptors and the Utah Jazz. It was 12. It's come down to 10. But here's a situation, guys, where I like Ingram tonight. The market agreed because it was 21.5 and it got bumped up to 22.5. It's kind of strange. Like, he's not people don't, he's a good player, but people don't, not a household name that everybody's betting every day. But the Raptors coach went off for the first time. He doesn't go off publicly much, this guy, right? Coach Darko, he doesn't rip them publicly very much. He'll do it privately, and that's why they like him. But he went off last night for the first time, just about the effort, and it was pathetic. He was embarrassed. It was bad. And Brandon Ingram was terrible last night, bro. His plus minus was like minus 29. It was bad, bro. Yeah, it was bad. And he said, it was the whole team. It wasn't just him. It kind of really ripped everybody. I'm looking for Ingram to really bounce back tonight. Ingram was 3 for 10 from the field, minus 29, 6 points. It's hard to be a minus 29.
Very.
That means you're not trying. Let's just call it out for what it is. And the coach said he didn't try. He basically said, I don't know what the F that was. And look for him to go off tonight. It's a nice soft landing against Utah. Better too.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. Be right back here. It's Game Time Decisions. We're live on SportsGrid.
It's not sustainable. Pitches throwing too hard and not being healthy, so that don't benefit anybody as well. So it's better to, if a guy throwing 97, why not just throw 94, 93 and learn how to pitch. And then you can last longer. So it's more about keeping the product, on the field and being on a consistent basis.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio. Only on SportsGrid.
What about the expansion stuff?
Yeah, but doesn't it make a lot of sense, Kevin? So but it's 28-29. He's already talked about, I'm playing in the Olympics in 2028. Retirement isn't on KD's mind right now. Play in the Olympics in 2028, and then the 2029 season, play where it all started, baby. Seattle.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
I wonder if you could argue UConn's more overseeded than, like, the idea that UConn was battling for a 1 seed, quite frankly, never made any of sense to me when you look at where their metrics were stacked.
UConn will be great as long as they don't play St. John's, apparently, in the tournament. They're good to go there. But you put them at a 5, Kevin. Now here we go again, like last year, Bill Self versus Rick Pitino.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
Major League Baseball announced yesterday that they will be having a partnership this season with a company that we've come to be very familiar with over the last 6 months. Polymarket is the exclusive prediction market partner of Major League Baseball and the only platform allows to use teams, logos, and marks. Representing the latest pro league to embrace the prediction markets.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, I can't help myself. I know some people hate this stuff. I actually think it's kind of fun because it's crazy, and, I can't believe they play the same sport. Not only is UConn up 33-8 at the end of the first quarter, 2 different girls are outscoring Syracuse by themselves. Sarah Strong has 9, AZ Fudd has 12, Syracuse has 8. It's nuts. The live number, Gabe, 53.5. Syracuse is almost getting 20 more points in game than they got after 1 quarter. Is that enough for you? Because I've seen you jump in on some crazy numbers either direction. 53.5 in game.
It isn't just quite yet because I think UConn are going to continue to pummel them and will probably be able to get something in the 60s soon. Literally, figuratively, Kevin. I mean, they don't have a choice, right? They're going to have to crank this up. It's amazing to me that they were able to score 33 points in 10 minutes.
It's nuts. It's crazy.
That's all. It's only 10 minutes, guys. They play quarters now, right? The woman instead of half. So they just scored in 10 minutes, 1 quarter, 33 points. Unbelievable. And it should be noted, too, they've beaten Syracuse 27 consecutive times. So if you're thinking, maybe Syracuse, they just put the graphic up. Yes, they've lost 27 consecutive times to UConn.
Yeah. It's not great. It's not great. I am betting the 2 other 1 seed games tonight.
As far as futures, Kevin, I mean, UConn are going to win the women's championship. Let's call it out for what it is.
The only thing I've seen people wonder is, does this UCLA team have a chance? I think you could make a case to bet the UCLA 5-1 and hope that there is some, tightness within that championship line against UConn. UConn has to play South Carolina and Dawn Staley. Someone asked me, Gabe, hey, have you filled out a women's bracket? And I was like, only one of the 1 seeds might not get there. It's UConn, UCLA, and South Carolina will all be there, and we'll see with Texas. One of those situations. Again, UConn hasn't lost a game this season. The only thing is the Big East is bad. It's not just in the men's game. The Big East is not very good this year in the women's game, so UConn just hasn't played as many teams. So
but they're still
wondering.
But their players are still better than everybody else's.
100%.
Right? That's the thing. So it doesn't really. Yeah, you could argue the level of competition. I get it, but who's the number 1 pick in the WNBA draft? She's on UConn, right?
For the next few years.
Yeah, exactly. They have multiple players that are just going to be star women pro players after the fact. And look, it's been a couple of years. They did win a couple of years ago, right? They won with Page, but they haven't been quite as dominant. South Carolina and Staley stepped up, as you stated, but this just feels like they're unbeatable this year, Kevin. UCLA are good. The Big Ten is good and competitive. Hell, Michigan are good. Michigan played with UConn earlier this year, actually. It was a pretty competitive game. It's like a 6-point game, 7-point game type of deal. Michigan are good, but there's levels to this, and UConn they're just better than everybody else. And that's kind of the theme, isn't it, with women's basketball? The best team generally wins, Kevin, right? South Carolina was the best team. I know they fell short before, but a lot of the times it's sort of preordained who the team to beat is, and I just don't think anyone's knocking off UConn now.
No, just so for anyone, like last year's UConn team was weird, and people thought they were disappointing, and they were a 2 seed last year. Something clicked. They beat everyone by double digits. They won the championship, and they've not lost a game. I don't know if they've played a single game with inside 10 all season long. It's been a dominant year. I did take the points with USC. They've played a lot of these 1 seeds. They played South Carolina, kept it within 20. It's a good program. So I took 24.5. It's a big number. And I did take the under in UCLA, Oklahoma State tonight. That Bruins team, when they turn it on defensively, it's another level. And OSU, just from what I could tell, better on the defensive side than the offensive side. So I took it under 142 late night in the UCLA-Oklahoma State game, Gabe.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. And something to keep our eye on, even with the Syracuse-UConn game. It's still 33-8 right now. They haven't scored again to start. And as it goes on, UConn in the fourth quarter, I think we can take a look at some in-game unders, Kevin, right? The point spreads will balloon a little bit, but it takes 2 to dance to get it over, guys. So basically right now, this total's dancing around 150, 148.5, 149.5 right now. But, are Syracuse going to score enough for this to get to 150 points? You've got to ask yourself that question. They've been stuck at 8 for a while here. How many points is Syracuse going to have at the half? Maybe 20?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that's thinking optimistically.
And they just showed that was UConn's highest scoring first quarter. Like I wouldn't be positive that UConn's that much higher than 50 probably at the end of the quarter. So it's not a bad look, the in-game under.
It's not sustainable. Pitches throwing too hard and not being healthy, so that don't benefit anybody as well. So it's better to, if a guy throwing 97, why not just throw 94, 93 and learn how to pitch? And then you can last longer. So it's more about keeping the product, on the field and being on a consistent basis.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio. Only on SportsGrid.
What about the expansion stuff?
Yeah, but doesn't it make a lot of sense, Kevin? So but it's 28-29. He's already talked about, I'm playing in the Olympics in 2028. Retirement isn't on KD's mind right now. Play in the Olympics in 2028, and then the 2029 season, play where it all started, baby. Seattle.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
If you could argue UConn's more overseeded than, the idea that UConn was battling for a 1 seed, quite frankly, never made any of sense to me when you look at where their metrics were stacked.
UConn will be great as long as they don't play St. John's, apparently, in the tournament. They're good to go there. But you put them at a 5, Kevin. Now here we go again, like last year, Bill Self versus Rick Pitino.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
Major League Baseball announced yesterday that they will be having a partnership this season with a company that we've come to be very familiar with over the last 6 months. Polymarket is the exclusive prediction market partner of Major League Baseball and the only platform allows to use teams, logos, and marks, representing the latest pro league to embrace the prediction markets.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Time decisions on a Monday night. A little deep breath from the full madness as the men's game has finished up the round of 64 and round of 32. Our Sweet 16 is set. It's kind of funny, right? Because like maybe today you can catch your breath, and then tomorrow we have to do baseball futures, and then we have an actual baseball game on Wednesday, and then Thursday it's a full slate of Major League Baseball, and the Sweet 16 kind of picks back up. So it's going to be a really good run out here. Gabe, I want to almost just turn back the clock. Saturday and Sunday, is there a result that kind of comes to mind that really stuck with you and caught your eye?
I'm going to have to start off with the Florida Gators losing to Iowa. Am I shocked that they didn't cover the point spread? No, right? But at the same point in time, I didn't think Florida were going all the way, Kevin. Right? I didn't think they were going all the way this time, but I was surprised to see them, not win the basketball game, albeit it was a close game. And the Big Ten is that good, right? The Big Ten is a competitive conference, and Iowa are pretty battle tested. And we talked about it, Kevin, going into the first game in the tournament with Iowa. And I brought up their coach, right? Had a lot of tournament success with Drake. He knocked off Missouri before. I mean, this guy, obviously, they made the right call. I mean, let's give credit where credit is due. That result, that's the one that surprised me. Everything else, I think, kind of went, according to plan. The St. John's, we got to talk about Patino's reaction at the end of the game. You would have thought that he lost at the buzzer. Like, you really, and they're saying after he didn't want to celebrate because the Kansas players were all right in front of him. So, he's been there and he's done that before, but I thought Kansas was going to pull it off. I was on Kansas plus the points, Kevin. It wasn't looking good. They came back, and I was like, oh, yeah, here we go right now. Kansas are going to, squeeze this out. Hell of a basket at the end, on the last drive of the game there for the Johnnies. I did enjoy that game. That was the game that I thought was going to be sort of the game of the day. And now it sets up what we kind of thought. We're going to get an Alabama and a Michigan head-to-head matchup, Kevin, in which, these two teams might crack 200 going head-to-head. We've seen Michigan have put up nearly 200 points in their first two games, and now they're going to have a team they're going to want to run with them.
All right, let's start there. I think the rest of this tournament should be furious that Alabama won, because the most dangerous version of Michigan is when they're just sick 90. It's horrifying. And it's what they did out in Vegas. And it's the thing I'm probably most frustrated about that I did over the weekend is I wanted to bet Michigan's team total, and I talked myself into betting St. Louis. And it was a stupid thing to do because the game against Howard was great to me, and I should have stuck with it. And the way Alabama plays, this is exactly what they did last year. They had a track meet against BYU, scored 100, played Duke. They scored. They can't stop at that level. And Michigan is streaky against the number. They win games, but they're streaky against the number. They cover by double digits against St. Louis. And if they beat Bama by 20, again, Iowa State, Jefferson or not, Tennessee, good luck. Good luck.
You know what it is, Kevin? Michigan are a better covering team when they play good teams.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When Michigan, you're going to be their numbers were always overinflated because of that Vegas tournament, and they just smashed everybody by 50. So, it's crazy. Even now you look at their numbers, they're always in the double digits. But as you stated, when they're laying a massive number and, they're not going to really care, quite frankly, whether they cover, against Northwestern or one of these games. But when you dial them up and you get a team that wants to run with them, and you saw what happened with St. Louis, St. Louis tapped out with 10 minutes left in the game, Kevin. Michigan just broke their will. Because the difference is Michigan can score, but Michigan can get stops as well, right? That'll be the difference in the Alabama game. Yeah, Alabama will score a bit, but Michigan are going to, knock the ball loose. They're going to be blocking shots. They're going to make Alabama take bad looks. Alabama's not used to forcing shots up at the end of the shot clock and stuff, and all those are the things that Michigan do. Look at St. Louis, from the masterpiece that they put on Thursday night to them getting shot clock violations, Kevin, not being able to get the shot off. right?
Yeah.
It was just that much like overwhelming. Dustin May's a great coach, guys, right? He brought Florida Atlantic to the Final Four before. Now he's got more talent, and they're on the verge of doing something special right now. They look like the team to beat, but I mean, anything can happen. We'll see. Pretty much everything is standing strong here. I didn't think Florida was, had that it factor this year to them. Duke are vulnerable. I really do believe that the winner of Michigan and Arizona is going to win the national championship.
Yeah, but I'll say this, Gabe. I don't think people should pencil Arizona in to be in that game. I don't.
No, and I wouldn't guarantee it either. Arkansas can play. Acuff is good enough to carry a team. You got a superstar player, you got a national championship coach, and you're getting 8 points. They're live in this game.
I just saw a statistic, Gabe. It's the most points that John Calipari has had as in the tournament since he was at UMass. I mean, that is a long time. That is a lot of points to throw Cal's way. And honestly, look, I don't really like this team. It is what it is, but Purdue does have a rhythm going on. They just do. And Kaufman-Wren hits that little floater every single time. And I don't want to. And honestly, if it ends up being Texas, I know it's going to be a big number, but it's the old coach. And that narrative is going to run. And that'll be Sean Miller's championship game. They beat Arizona. Quite frankly, Michigan can beat him by 100. He wouldn't care. That'll be one of the biggest games of his life, Gabe, if that ended up being the matchup in the Elite Eight.
It really will be. And it's just one of those unintended storylines potentially that, they kind of thought, listen, we talked about Texas. I got cold feet. Otherwise, I can really pat myself on the back, Kevin. Remember I said, these guys are going to run the table. They're going to win this game, and then they're going to knock off. I didn't think Gonzaga were that great this year. We've seen enough of the Zags to know that they were going to have their hands full with a very athletic Texas team. But this is the end of the line for the Texas Longhorns, Kevin. They're not beating Purdue, right? It was all about matchups for Texas, and they got good matchups, right? It was a good matchup for them to play Gonzaga. Gonzaga were offensively challenged. They were a good defensive team, but Gonzaga just didn't have that go-to pure score, right? They just didn't have that. They were missing Huff, obviously, as well, but they were just missing that sort of spark, this Gonzaga team, to pull away in games this year, and they paid the price for it. So we like the matchups for Texas, but I don't like the matchup against Purdue. And I thought Purdue, when I gave my Final Four picks, I posted it, and I had I said Purdue are an outlier, guys. I said I think Purdue and UConn are the two other teams beside my Final Four picks that I thought had a chance of getting there. And look, they're still here right now. And it was one of those deals, Kevin, where I don't really love this UConn team, but it was like game by game, right? It's almost like Lou Holtz said when they won the national championship with Notre Dame. And they said, Coach, do you really think are you guys the best team in the country? And he goes, I don't know. We didn't play every team in the country. But he goes, that's not the way it works. He goes, we beat every team that we played. It's the same thing. Do I think UConn are the top two teams in the country? No, not really. But they have a path to get to the national championship game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, let's be clear. Dan Hurley gets into this tournament. Dan Hurley says a lot of stuff that's ridiculous. Like, they beat Furman. He's like, I can't believe we played those guys. That's not a 15 seed. It's like, Dan, come on, okay? But one thing I believe that he says that I don't think is just covering is Big East teams are a bigger challenge for him. It's not to say that, Marquette is better than Duke, but there is something about the Big East that there's just something where these teams know him, and he gets into these tournaments. You saw it. UCLA jumped on UConn, and by halftime, you knew which way that game was going. You knew UConn had them figured out.
I agree with you as far as playing conference teams. Look at Michigan. They lost to Purdue. Like, if you're Michigan, you'd rather play anyone else besides Purdue or another Big Ten team, to be honest.
Yeah. We're going to get you set for the Major League Baseball season with Craig Mish next.
It's not sustainable. Pitches throwing too hard and not being healthy, so that don't benefit anybody as well. So it's better to, if a guy throwing 97, why not just throw 94, 93 and learn how to pitch? and then you can last longer. So it's more about keeping the product, on the field and being on a consistent basis.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio. Only on SportsGrid.
What about the expansion stuff?
Yeah, but doesn't it make a lot of sense, Kevin? So but it's 28-29. He's already talked about, I'm playing in the Olympics in 2028. Retirement isn't on KD's mind right now. Play in the Olympics in 2028, and then the 2029 season, play where it all started, baby. Seattle.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
I wonder if you could argue UConn's more overseeded than, like, the idea that UConn was battling for a 1 seed, quite frankly, never made any of sense to me when you look at where their metrics were stacked.
UConn will be great as long as they don't play St. John's, apparently, in the tournament. They're good to go there. But you put them at a 5, Kevin. Now here we go again, like last year, Bill Self versus Rick Pitino.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
Major League Baseball announced yesterday that they will be having a partnership this season with a company that we've come to be very familiar with over the last 6 months. Polymarket is the exclusive prediction market partner of Major League Baseball and the only platform allows to use teams, logos, and marks. Representing the latest pro league to embrace the prediction markets.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Time decisions. And I got to tell you, I don't know if I ever thought I would see a tournament game where someone was laying 70 in game. I just saw it. It was 71.5. And I'll leave that to be the
Syracuse
extent of
have they scored 2 points in the quarter.
Yeah, they're hot, Gabe.
I like this. Points off for turnovers, 28-0 for UConn. UConn are ruthless, too, because they're stopping them every possession. And then after, UConn are just taking a 3 all the time. They're not even settling for 2s. They just set up and they bomb a 3, and it goes in like seemingly every time.
It's AZ Fudd has, again, 9 more points than Syracuse. She's almost doubling up this team. All right, we'll pause it there. Craig Mish joins the show now here on Game Time Decisions, of course, host of Newswire Pro Baseball Today and covering all things Major League Baseball. Craig, we appreciate you making some time as it's opening week of the Major League Baseball season. We kind of knew it would sneak up on us coming out of the WBC. And there are a couple of stories that have come out over the last few days that people may not be as familiar with. One that I know upset some people. I'm wondering if it surprised you at all. Connor Griffin not starting opening day on the Pittsburgh Pirates Major League roster. What did you make of this story, Craig?
Well, Kevin, he started off so hot and then really cooled and made the decision, I think, easy for the Pirates. But look, I think that with the new CBA rules where you can get a very early draft pick if your player wins Rookie of the Year, I think that's still in play. Remember, Skeens came up very late in the season. A couple of years ago, ended up winning Rookie of the Year. The same could be said for Griffin. So, yes, there is service time discussion that's going to happen with this. I don't know that that will play a huge factor. I guess we'll see. But I would guess in the month of April, we'll see him up. But look, I mean, let's just call it what it is. He didn't hit at all for the final 2.5 weeks of spring training, making the decision easy for the Pirates. And so they'll let him develop a little bit more in AAA. And then we'll see him probably, I would say, I mean, if I had to guess, I'll throw out a date, April 26th of next month.
All right.
Guys, we've seen this time and time again over the years with phenom players. They get rushed a little bit too quickly, Craig. We saw with Gunnar Henderson, right? People anointed Gunnar Henderson the next mega superstar. He really struggled. And, they had to, all right, let's send him back down, back up. And I'm me personally, Kevin, I prefer if you don't rush a young player in. Right? Spring training is one thing. Because, you rush a young player into Major League Baseball, he's not going to do well. Next thing you know, he's hitting 186, and you've got to send him down, and it just sort of delays it. I'd rather send him down, have him tear it up. Who was it? Holiday. It was Holiday I was talking about on Baltimore. Rather have him tear it up. The problem is if you send him down and then he struggles in the minors. And that's what happened with Sasaki last year, right? The Dodgers sent Sasaki down, and he was struggling, and it was almost by they didn't have a choice. They had to call him back up because they were out of arms, and then they put him in the bullpen. So for me, I think it's a smart move, Kevin, because everybody's automatically going to say, oh, they're cheap, and it's the service year, right? That's always the accusation with these young players and these teams. But I actually think it's a smart baseball move not to rush them.
I think there's a lot of pressure on Pittsburgh in relation to Paul Skeens, and I think all of these decisions, Craig, center around, is Skeens happy? Will Skeens be here for the long haul? And the interesting thing, Craig, and you've mentioned this is something to keep your eye on. Do you think there's a world that some of this stuff gets figured out for the Pirates because we may end up with a baseball salary cap and paying Paul Skeens then doesn't become as tricky because you've got a max contract and that's just what the number is?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely in play. I think it's in play for all players right now. And I think that's why you haven't seen a ton of contract extensions. I mean, everyone is alluding to all the extensions that the A's gave out, but let's be honest, when you're moving into a new stadium and you're trying to build some support in Las Vegas, eventually you got to start throwing some good faith around, and I think that's what the A's did. But aside from them, Kevin, you've seen very few extensions. I know we'll get to one with the Phillies today, but essentially, yes, that's a major factor as to what's going on. And by the way, it will force the hand of a lot of teams to give out more extensions to hit that salary cap floor, if indeed that is the case going into next year. So I would not be concerned at all for if I'm a Pirates fan with Skeens. Talk to me after the new CBA. Talk to me, by the way, after next year is complete, and then we can see where things are at.
Baseball's so hot now.
Yeah.
It's too bad that this could potentially happen, but I don't see how they come to an agreement, guys. Like, they really would have to start negotiating now, because this isn't like players versus owners. You have owners versus owners as well. You have players versus players.
No, you don't have owners versus owners, Gabe, at all.
You know what I mean? You think the Dodgers and the Mets and the Yankees are on the same page as the Miami Marlins are?
You don't need 30 teams to agree to this.
No, you don't, but they're still owners versus owners then. So basically,
I mean, if you have 3 versus 27 or 4 versus 26, do you have a fight or do you have a win? I mean, they're going to lose.
Well,
that's it.
That's not a win for baseball. That we'll have more owners that don't want to spend money and don't want to compete.
They're going to. They're going. There's no choice in the matter. I can't state this as facts, but if regardless of what Steve Cohen or the Guggenheim Group or what John Middleton wants to do in Philadelphia, it doesn't make any difference. The majority of the owners in baseball are going to vote for a salary cap and a salary floor. And I don't know that the players will or not, Gabe, to your point. I don't know, but it makes no difference as to what one owner thinks. In fact, they would be the enemies as opposed to the majority. All it requires is a majority win to get things passed in the collective bargaining.
Well, what is it, 24? They need 24 out of the, is it 24 exactly?
Something like that. Yeah, we're 22.
So you have the Dodgers, you'll have the Mets, you'll have the Blue Jays, you'll have the Phillies. There are a couple of other groups in here, maybe, you know what I mean? And they're going to try to work on other people, but I wouldn't say that every owner is on board with this.
There's a good chance that by the time this happens, all of the owners will vote this way.
I could see a world where they right, because they have to get settled on their side to then get settled on the player's side, and it's going to be one of these things that we watch throughout the season. I just wanted to throw one piece of news at you, Craig, in relation to the NL East. Obviously, you know this, you know them all well, but this specifically, Spencer Strider starts on the IL again. It's almost like a one-hit wonder in music. Like, are we ever going to get to a point where Spencer Strider feels like an ace?
I think it's more of a concern for the Braves right now. Like, man, last year I thought was the bad luck season. Their run differential was really good. They lost the first 7 or 8 games of the season, and it felt like just everything that could go wrong went wrong for them. And we're right back on the doorstep again with the Braves with all of these injuries to their starting pitching. So, I don't know if it's necessarily a Strider issue as opposed to what will the Braves do to respond to that.
And Profar.
Do something.
They're cursed, Craig.
They paid for the 1-1-1 big season. Thank you, Craig. We'll be right back.
It's not sustainable. Pitches throwing too hard and not being healthy, so that don't benefit anybody as well. So it's better to, if a guy throwing 97, why not just throw 94, 93 and learn how to pitch? And then you can last longer. So it's more about keeping the product, on the field and being on a consistent basis.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio. Only on SportsGrid.
What about the expansion stuff?
Yeah, but doesn't it make a lot of sense, Kevin? So, but it's 28-29. He's already talked about, I'm playing in the Olympics in 2028. Retirement isn't on KD's mind right now. Play in the Olympics in 2028, and then the 2029 season, play where it all started, baby. Seattle.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
I wonder if you could argue UConn's more overseeded than, the idea that UConn was battling for a 1 seed, quite frankly, never made any of sense to me when you look at where their metrics were stacked.
UConn will be great as long as they don't play St. John's, apparently, in the tournament. They're good to go there. But you put them at a 5, Kevin. Now here we go again, like last year, Bill Self versus Rick Pitino.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
Major League Baseball announced yesterday that they will be having a partnership this season with a company that we've come to be very familiar with over the last 6 months. Polymarket is the exclusive prediction market partner of Major League Baseball and the only platform allows to use teams, logos, and marks. Representing the latest pro league to embrace the prediction markets.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, back with you guys right here on SportsGrid. I won't mention it again, but I just have to because you don't see stuff like this every day. Halftime number, UConn, minus 73.5. Minus 73 and a half.
Wow.
It's 65-12. AZ Fudd has 26, and Syracuse has 12.
You almost have to take it out of principle, but Syracuse do have 12 points. You figure UConn take the pedal off the metal a little bit, right?
Gabe, I'll just say, we've been watching this whole game. I don't know if they do. They look to be having the time of their lives. I got to tell you.
It's a 3-ball fest, I know.
I'm not stepping in front of this.
They outscored them, guys, 32-4 in the second quarter.
Yeah. And Syracuse was lucky to get those 4. It was a
should have bet that under 12.5 team total.
Yeah, it was a good look. To score 33 and follow it with 32 is truly crazy and just not something that you see. Let's put these picks on the board. It's our last segment here on this Monday night. Tomorrow, I know Gabe said he's going to roll in with some Major League Baseball futures. I'm going to be hitting the books as well. Try and find some different angles out there. We usually, can get ourselves a World Series pick before the year, find some value, even if it's everybody versus Gabe's Dodgers. We'll figure that whole thing out. But Gabe, fly through your card here on a Monday night. Like you said, it's a little bit of a lighter slate, but doesn't mean we can't find some picks.
No, it doesn't. And there's actually games, but as we stated earlier, there are so many double-digit mismatch type of injury, typical NBA games, and you got a couple of good ones. So let's start off with the good one. The Lakers are looking for their 10th consecutive W. Cade Cunningham is out, obviously, for the Detroit Pistons. They've beaten the Wizards and the Warriors without him. Now this is the first real game that they're playing against a smoking hot Laker team. Give me the Lakers on the money line, minus 115. Me and Kevin see this one differently, but I'm going Bam Adebayo over 21.5 points tonight. Listen, man, the total's 244, 243.5, 244. They're expecting a track meet tonight. There's going to be points scored. And Bam is just super consistent. If we lose this bet, we said this earlier, if we lose this bet, he's going to get to 21 and we lose by half a point, right? We lose by a point to get to 22. He gets to 20 or something like that. But I think he gets into the mid-20s. Like I said, it's not like we have a total of 210 tonight. It's 244. There's going to be a pace to the game. Let's go Bam over to 21.5. Brandon Ingram was a minus 29 last night. Got called out by everybody for his lack of effort. He scored 6 points. The coach had his back and said, it wasn't just him, it was everybody, but it was kind of coded at him about the effort. Look for him to bounce back tonight. It's 22.5, so you got to pay a price for it. He generally scores like 21, 23, depending on, right around that number. So I'm going over to 22.5. And NHL hockey, we talk about how up the Buffalo Sabres are, but the Ottawa Senators have been smoking hot too, guys. 16-5-4 right now over the last 25 hockey games. Give me the Buffalo Sabres. Not in love with the price tonight, but the Ottawa Senators, red hot like the Sabres are. Give me the Sens at MSG tonight.
Yeah, one game in the NHL tonight. Huge slate tomorrow. So I'm sure we'll handle that a little bit. I want to throw the producer picks up. I don't want to, squeeze those guys out. I know there's some excitement in the back. I think AJ, main slate. You had to think it was going to be Blazers Nets. He goes Pistons money line here.
Disappointment.
Koski brings in a 4-man each to make a 3. That's outrageous at -106. You like the Jamal Shed pick here, Gabe, out of Yarnell?
Yes, some love for the Raptors here. Houston Cougar. Jamal Shed over 9.5. Don't hate it tonight. Should be a lot of points scored. How many minutes did he play last night is the key. I have it up here right now. Raptors Shed, what did he play last night? He played 21 minutes last night.
Not
1
bad.
of 6, so he struggled too. They all sucked last night. Quickly had 11, Barrett had 13.
I got to tell you,
Barnes
he
had
hasn't hit
17.
this number in about 12 straight games, though. So
I like Shed more when everybody else is out. And not everybody else is out tonight.
Yeah. You know what that number is? That's a they're playing the Jazz. Everybody's going to get to play 25 minutes tonight kind of number on Jamal
If the Raptors
Shed.
get that lead, yeah.
Yeah. For me, Gabe mentioned we're head-to-head on Adebayo, which is insane. I'm now fascinated to see how it lands. Basically, he played 45 minutes, and he's going against Wemby. That's a lot to ask Bam Adebayo. Like the over with J-Dub back for the Thunder, 224.5. Laying 12.5 with Orlando late night Trojans plus 24.5 under UCLA, Oklahoma State. We will see you right back here tomorrow for game time decisions on SportsGrid. Good luck tonight.